Welcome back, friends. Let's do the following. Our goal is to print 3, 2, 1. Again, we're going to do this with a for loop. We've got to make preliminary observations. What are they? First value. That's our observation here. What's the first value? It's 3. You've got to know that. Last value, 1. Okay. Then the question is, what happens from value to value? In other words, what's the increment, right? That's what we want to know next. Well, you're going from 3 to 2, that's 1 down. Then you're going from 2 to 1, that's 1 down. So it seems like it would be a negative 1. You're losing 1 on the value of the variable on each turn. Now that we've made these preliminary observations, we can create our loop. For int I, again, declare a variable, give it a name like I or P or Z, whatever. It's just a name. Call it whatever you want pretty much, as long as you follow the rules of C#. And then assign the initial value. So that's 3. Semicolon. Now we have to think about how to construct the logical condition. Well, look, I is going to stand for 3. Then it's going to stand for 2. Then lastly, it's going to stand for 1. So you're going to say at each turn of the loop, beginning with 3, is I greater than or equal to 1 for that reason. When I is 3, the greater than part runs. When I is 2, the greater than part is true. When I is 1, the equal to part kicks in. When I is, for example, 0, then the logical condition fails. Semicolon. Now, because the goal is to decrement on each turn of the loop, you're going to type I minus minus. And then we'll just display the values to keep it, simple. Console, console.writeLine. And then let's use string interpolation. Dollar symbol, double quotes, I equals, remember that this shows on the screen exactly as written. Within there, replace the variable whose values you want to show, like I, and then terminate with a semicolon to complete the statement. That's our code. The goal is not to run this. Don't care about that. I want to understand what happens to the loop on each turn. So let me zoom in here carefully. Let me push this over a little bit. Here we are. So go over to debug and then step into F11 if you need to. Give this a second. There we are. Let's go through it very carefully. Hit the step into button. Notice where it stops. Int I equals 3 on the declaration and setting of the variable inside the loop. Then it hits the logical condition. Put your mouse over I. Right now I is 3, which means the greater 2 part makes the inequality true. You see it says true in a little. Hit step into console.writeLine executes, goes over to I minus minus, hit that, runs it. Put your mouse over I. Now I has the value 2. That means the greater 2 part is what makes it true. You see? It's still true. Look at the tip. Tip into console.writeLine runs. Now again, put your mouse over I. Now the current value of I is 1, which means it's the equal to part that's making the logical condition true in the middle. Remember, a logical condition is a basic condition that is either true or false. And then you step into it. So console.writeLine executes. I minus minus executes. Then put your mouse over I. Right now, I has the value 0, which means the logical condition in the middle is false. That means that this line right here will not execute. Instead, control will transfer it to this closing loop. Look, you see, it hits that closing loop. And then it executes and the program closes and all that. I'll see you in another video.